Hello, guys, and welcome to Football Fan Den UK. So today, doing a live stream to debate, obviously, Fan Den. So Fan Den fans can have a debate with regards to the Ronaldo situation. Obviously, been well publicised in the mainstream media now. I did a bit of research on this last night, guys, and as I understand it, the Ronaldo interview is actually supposed to be fully released over the next 2 nights, tonight and tomorrow night. So we're getting the mainstream media obviously reacting to comments that he said in an interview. But I think obviously we can have our say on it. We can have our opinions on the clips that we've seen so far. But as I understand it, like I say, guys, the full interview it's supposed to come out tonight and tomorrow night in two parts. So obviously we want to have our say on it, but I don't think we can go too overboard until we hear the full interview um, and hear exactly what he's got to say. Like I say, that's supposed to come out tonight and tomorrow night in two parts. So um, obviously, there's a lot of fans going to have an opinion on it. There's a lot of the football community going to have an opinion on it. I'm sure you guys maybe want to hear my opinion on it. I'm trying to stay reserved, to be honest, guys, until I hear the full interview. Um, but I'm gonna chuck out my thoughts on it so far. What bits I've heard, and just maybe not have an opinion on it, but maybe just kind of give you guys the pros and cons about it, and we can obviously before the interview comes out, we can hear like the bigger picture, if you like. So I'm going to cover a little bit of what I know about it up to now, what I've researched, and how we can look at this. But yeah, if you're just joining us, guys, please do hit that like button and drop your comments in the chat. Want to hear what you guys have got to say today about this. That's why I'm doing a live stream. Really want to hear your thoughts on this because it's quite an important topic. And the reason it's an important topic is because if this situation is not handled in the right way, then we're gonna see this repeat itself in future, and we're gonna see it repeat itself because players have got so much power in the game right now. So we're going to hear more and more players behave like this if they see that Ronaldo gets the reaction that he wants. Now, obviously, like I say, guys, there's two parts to this. And like I say, drop your comments in the chat because I do want to hear what you guys have got to say about this. And I will come to the comments in a minute. But I'm just going to give you a quick overview of my thoughts on it and what I've seen so far and what I've read and what I've researched. Now, for me, I think the bigger picture, the reality is the bigger picture. The fault for me mainly lies with Man United, and the reason it lies with Manchester United is because let's look at this club, guys. Come on, you all know how big Manchester United is as a club. We all know it. We all know the history. We all know how big it is as a club. We all know how big it is financially. But the reality is, Manchester United have had massive, high profile players in that dressing room in many, many years gone by. Loads of seasons where we can call out that there's been big, big players in that dressing room going back years and years and years. You know, the list of top players in that dressing room goes, you know, is shocking. You know, the likes of Beckham, Cantona, and that's just two off the top of my head. There's loads. I could sit here half the night just listing top players that have played for United. So my point, what the reason I'm pointing that out, guys, is that Man United have had plenty of experience in years gone by of dealing with top players, superstar players, if you like, where they've had the experience of dealing with difficult situations like this. And it appears to me that since the Glazers have took over and made loads of changes in the backroom staff throughout the club, they've lost. They seem to have lost that experience, whether it's through changing staff, whether it's just the arrogance of the Glazers and the way they run the club. I can't put my finger on it, guys. But the reality is, Manchester United have had many top players. You know, you can think back to for example, the Cantona incident years ago where he kicked a fan. That was a high profile incident that Manchester United had to deal with and had the experience to deal with. So how is it that Manchester United have allowed themselves to go into a season with an unhappy player? Doesn't matter how high profile he is, whether he's an average player, high profile player, it doesn't matter. They've allowed themselves to go into a season with an unhappy player. And then this happens, and we've had other issues happen throughout this season with Ronaldo walking off down the pitch, refusing to come on as a sub, all sorts of stuff. And I don't understand why there isn't a better understanding of this in the football community. That Man United should have known that this was going to happen. Man United should have planned for this to happen, and Man United had the experience to know that this can happen. Now, with regards to Ronaldo, obviously, I know there's a lot of fans that think he's got the right to speak out, and I agree. I do agree. He has got the right to speak out, and it's refreshing to hear a player trying to come out and speak so honestly. But we have got to criticise him a bit because his timing of doing this is so obviously well planned. It is so obviously well planned to suit Ronaldo's agenda. And the reason I say that, guys, is because the World Cup's on the horizon. He's got a month where he's not got to bother with Man United because he's going to be playing for his national team. So he's got a whole month of not bothering with his club. And let's be honest, that's the way top players work these days. We've seen it with Pogba doing it in the summertime at Man United. He'd come out, he'd have a season. As soon as the summer come round, he was in the media giving interviews that caused issues for Manchester United, bringing United's philosophies, managers, tactics, the way the club was run, bringing it all into dispute because he would come out and do an interview. So we've seen this before, guys. We've seen this pattern happen before. Now, I'm not going to stick up for Ronaldo. I'm not going to stick up for him because his behaviour this season has been like a big child, and I think he's actually damaging his own image, his own legacy, his own desires, because we all know he wants out the club. It's pretty obvious, guys. He wants out of Manchester United. But is he encouraging other players to come knocking on the door to get him when he's behaving like this? Because the reality is, he is 37. He's at the back end of his career. And any club that would want Ronaldo is going to want him because he's a talented player. Yes, obviously. But they're also going to be bearing in mind that he's an older player and that he might not be what they need to challenge in the relevant league that they play in. So for me, I think the whole thing is an absolute disgrace. I think Man United have handled it badly. I think Ronaldo's handling it badly. And it was predictable, guys. It was so predictable that this was going to happen. Manchester United are not recognising, and neither of the fans seem to be recognising one thing that I've identified with this whole situation, and that is that Ronaldo is a very skillful player, and he's been a skillful player for many years, and his talent has made him reach the highest heights in football. But not only his talent has helped him reach the highest heights in football, his popularity has helped him reach the highest heights in football. Fans adore this man. Fans adore him as a player, as a person, as a sportsman. Fans just adore him. And I've got no problem with that. And that's fine. It's understandable why, because he is a top talent. But let me just remind this to you guys. Even though he's a top talent, we have created a player, and we're doing it all the time when we hype these players up at such a young age. The same thing happened with Rooney and so many players before him, where we hype these players up at a young age and then we wonder why they fall in love with themselves. Because let's be honest, Ronaldo is in love with himself. So not only is Ronaldo the person that he is as a player, Ronaldo, through reaching the heights that he's reached, has also recognised that his name is very marketable. It's very profitable. So Ronaldo now in football is not the Ronaldo, remember, that first played for United. Ronaldo, when he takes that pitch is a footballer first, obviously, but he's also a brand, guys. He's a brand. This is why you've seen him doing boxer short commercials, selling CR7 boxer shorts, and you've seen him doing all sorts of other commercials, selling other products with his name on it, because he's marketable, as he's profitable. So even though Manchester United want to maximise their profits on the back of having a player like Ronaldo in their club, that's fine. We totally understand that. But what they've failed to identify is that a superstar player like Ronaldo is a brand. So Ronaldo is coming to the end of his career, and he's seeing that he's coming to the end of his career. He's seeing that he's maxed out his career up until this point, and he wants to finish it that way. That is why he is behaving like this, if you ask me, guys. He's behaving like this, having chucking his toys out the pram, storming down the tunnel, giving interviews, refusing to come on and sub. All these different things that he's been doing is because Ronaldo is wanting to market himself to the max until the day he retires. And that's the reality. So what you've got here is the clash of one of the biggest marketable clubs in the world against one of the biggest marketable players in the world. And this is why we have this situation. So Ronaldo's antics, yes, they're damaging his own image and his own legacy, but they're also damaging Manchester United. The whole thing is an absolute farce. Obviously, like I said, guys, the interview's got to come out for real. So we've got to hear the full picture of what he's got to say. But like I say, the whole thing for me is an absolute farce. There's faults on both sides. And like I say, for me, the biggest fault lies with Manchester United. Manchester United have had the experience of other players, other star players to benefit from, to learn from, to have that experience, to be prepared to deal with top players like Ronaldo. And it's lost. It appears from the outside looking in, guys, that Manchester United have lost that. They have lost that within the club. And the only thing I can think of, the reason they've lost it, is because of the changes the Glazers have made. They haven't made changes for sporting reasons in Manchester United. They made changes for profitable reasons, guys. So, even though they're doing it because they want to run Manchester United as a business, that's fine. Obviously, we all know in this day and age of football, there is a business aspect to it. But more than anything, there's a sporting aspect to it, football, because the club and its business success is based on football. So if a football club owner is not going to put the sport before the profit and before the business side of it, then how can you expect to keep making profit? And this is an example of how unintelligent that Manchester United owners are as far as sport is concerned. They don't have a clue. They've kept Ronaldo this season, in my opinion, when they could have sold him in the summer, because he's marketable. And that's all that the Glazers see. They see the profit. They see the shirt sales. They see the fact that CR7 and Ronaldo can be marketed alongside United and make United's profits higher at the end of the year. And that is all the Glazers see. They don't see the person. They don't see the footballer. They don't see the problems that they create for the manager that is trying to manage the team. Now, obviously, I'm going to come to the comments in a minute, guys, but just before I do, I also want to point out that there's been a lot of people out there saying that Ten Hag has managed Ronaldo well, this, that, and the other. I'm not in agreement with that, guys. I'm not in agreement. I think that the way Ten Hag has come in, laying down the law, has also created the issue. We've seen it so many times in other clubs. Managers come in love with themselves, think that they deserve and command respect. They go in all guns blazing, trying to lay down the law, and it doesn't work. And 8 months, 12 months later, they're getting the sack. And the reason they're getting sacked is because today's modern players don't take well to authoritarian managers. They don't. We've seen it with we've seen it with Mourinho several times at different clubs. So for me, guys, I'm just trying to point out the aspects I'm just trying to point out some of the issues and some of the points, the blatant points that are obvious in this whole situation. And the fact is that all parties involved, the manager, Cristiano Ronaldo, the club, they all have an element of blame to take. So, guys, that's obviously my quick overview of it. Like I said, I haven't really took an opinion on it either way yet, because I'm waiting for the full interview to come out and hear exactly what he's got to say. But like I said, guys, I just wanted to point out some of the pros and cons from both sides before we obviously get into the debate. But I want to hear what you guys have got to say. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, be very much appreciated. But drop your comments in the chat. Want to hear what you guys have got to say. Because, like I say, the reason I'm doing this live stream, guys, is because this is the sort of thing you guys as fans should be demanding your say on. If you're a football fan and you care about football, then things like this, whether you support United, whether you like United, whether you like Ronaldo, it doesn't matter. This kind of thing happening at the top level of football can filter down to create problems for other clubs with players and egos and attitudes. This is something that is becoming more prevalent in the modern day's game. So I want to hear from you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. Want to hear from you. So let's go to the chat and see Stevie Allen. Hi guys, how's it going, Stevie? Great to hear from you, mate. Appreciate you dropping in. Let me know if you've got any input, any thoughts on this Ronaldo situation. But thanks for the fantastic job you do in the background, Stevie. Always very much appreciated. And yeah, like I say, mate, if you have any thoughts on it, just drop a comment in the chat. Will be an interesting watch. Yeah, hopefully, like I say, well, I was hoping it was going to be a few fans that would want to talk about this tonight. That's why I'd done it. But like I say, guys, want to hear from you. Just drop your comments in. I haven't got long tonight because unfortunately got other commitments tonight, so I will only be on for up to an hour. So please do let me know in the chat what your thoughts are on this whole situation. Thanks for that, Stevie. Pompey World, hi, Gaz. How's it going, mate? Appreciate you dropping in. Have you got any thoughts on the Ronaldo situation, or are you just dropping in to say hi? Let me know, Pompey World, if you're still there. Would love to know your thoughts on this situation. Rush Nazim La. How's it going, mate? Appreciate you dropping in. Always great to see a new face in the chat. Appreciate you coming in, dropping your thoughts in the chat. Nassim Lassar is saying, "Where is Cristiano Pierce interview?" It actually comes out tonight, mate. Apparently, I've checked it out last night because I was looking for it last night, and apparently, it's coming out in two parts. The first part is to be released tonight, and the second part is to be released tomorrow. So it's a two-part interview. And like I say, the first part is supposed to be coming out tonight about 10 o'clock, so I believe. And the second part is coming out tomorrow around the same time. So, yeah, we do need to wait the full interview. But, yeah, well, thanks for that, Nassim. I'm exactly right to point out that the full video is not out yet. Nassim Lazar, will you stream the interview? Unfortunately, I won't be able to stream the interview, mate, because of copyright. Obviously, YouTube is full of copyright stuff, and you're not allowed to obviously, I'm not allowed to post stuff that has been on other media companies. So, unfortunately, mate, as much as I would love to share the interview, I won't be able to do that because of copyright, unfortunately, mate. But I'm sure you can catch it. It'll be. I'm sure lots of it will be posted on YouTube. But we want to stay within the respectful rules of YouTube. So no, unfortunately, mate, I will not be sharing the interview. But I'm sure you'll be able to catch it easy enough. I'm sure there'll be plenty of websites and places you can find it. I'm not sure the TV company that's doing it. It's a new TV company to me anyway. I think it's an American one that's done the interview. But like I say, mate, it's out tonight. It's supposed to be out tonight, 10 o'clock tonight. The first part and the second part is tomorrow night. So obviously we'll get a clearer picture of exactly what he's said. Once them interviews are out. So yeah, mate, my apologies. Unfortunately, I won't be able to share the video because, like I said, I'm sure there'll be lots of copyright stuff all over that. So unfortunately, no, mate. But I'm sure you'll be able to find it. Like I say, there's going to be a big demand to see the clips of that video. So I'm sure the media company that releases it is going to try and make it as available to as many people as possible to maximize their profits and what have you from doing the interview. So yeah, but like guys, please do come join us. Drop your comments in the chat. Like I said, just a short stream tonight. Thought I'd give you guys the chance to hear your thoughts on the whole Ronaldo situation. Let me know because, like I say, if you want to hear my thoughts, I just shared them in the first 10, 15 minutes of the stream. So you can back up the stream and hear my thoughts on it. But yeah, like I say, guys, would love to hear what you guys have to say. Lots to debate with regards to this, and I thought this would be a big talking point, to be honest, because I know it's a Manchester United issue, but the fact of the matter is, yes, it's a Manchester United issue, but this is an issue that is becoming more prevalent in the game today, with more and more clubs potentially facing this kind of issue where you have player power. And it could be a big issue in the future of football for many clubs because we are seeing that player power is kicking in to the game more and more and more. And the question is, how do we, as fans, expect clubs to deal with it? It doesn't help when you have tourist fans that follow football clubs just because of the players that they've got. They're not following the club because they like the club. There's a lot of fans out there, unfortunately, nowadays that do follow clubs just because of what player is playing for them, not because they like the club. And that is kind of crazy. That is crazy because that is following the celebrity element of football, not following football properly. I've had some absolutely nuts comments on social media that I've read recently, and one particular responding to one of the comments that I put about the situation, which was a fan saying no criticism to Ronaldo. Now, I'm not being funny, but no player, I don't care how big, how popular, how talented, no player is above criticism, especially when you're going to come out in the media and talk like Ronaldo has done. If he's going to come out and have his say in public on the media and make controversial statements at controversial times like he's doing, then fans and the football world have the right to respond to it. So yeah, like I say, guys, let me know your thoughts on it because I've been reading all sorts on social media about this, and like I say, it'd be great to hear from you guys what you have to say because, like I say, I've spoken quite a bit about this over uh, the last few days. Stevie Allen, what club do you think he will go to next? Well, that's a great question, Stevie. Thanks for that, mate. I think, like I said, I think that's a really difficult one to answer because this is what I'm saying. When he's coming out in the media and behaving like he is, giving interviews and not letting the club know that he's giving interviews, storming down the tunnel, refusing to come on as a sub, the other clubs are going to look at this and say, yes, this is a top player, one of the best players in the world. But do we need the headache of the media circus that will come with him? And do we need the headache of a player that demands to be in the team? And if you don't select him in the first 11, he behaves like a child because that's the reality of what he's been doing. He's behaving like a child. He's not getting it all his own way, and he's sulking. And his body language on the bench at times has been absolutely disgusting for a grown man. This is a grown man behaving like this, and I understand why he's doing it. I've just explained earlier in the video why he's doing it. He's doing it because, unfortunately, the media and the fan community have hyped him up so high as a player that he has become a star player. He knows he's a star player. His name is so marketable that he can make more and more money out of it every season. He's well aware of this, and that's what he's doing it for because he sees that he's got a short window left to play of his professional career, and he's maximized through all his career what he can do with the brand of his name, and he's achieved massive success, and he's made his name a massive brand around the world. And you can't blame the man in a way for wanting to keep that rolling when he's only got what two seasons, maybe three at a push left in him to play. So you can understand why he's wanting to max out his potential for the brand of his name. But I think one thing that I've got to point out is Wayne Rooney has commented on the situation, and obviously Ronaldo has responded to Wayne Rooney having his input and claimed that they're not friends, which is just yet again another childish statement to make, because it's kind of like, well, you're not with me, you're against me, so we're not friends. And that's the way he's behaving. This is a grown man behaving like a child. And basically, if you're not with him, you're not a friend. You're just an associate. That is so pathetic and childish. And I'm sorry, guys. I absolutely love Ronaldo as a football player. He's brilliant to watch. He's talented. He's gifted on the ball. He's amazing to watch as a footballer. But his behaviour that he displays when he doesn't get his own way and when people speak against him is so childish. And why is he behaving like a child? I'll tell you right now why he's behaving like a child, guys. Because he is a player that has always had it his own way. All his career, he's had people telling him, "You're the best. You're undroppable. You're the biggest brand in football as a football player." He's had people telling him this. So now, because he's never had the word no hardly said to him, because he's had it all this success and all this hype, all his career, and he's become one of the most popular people in the world of football and the world of sport, he doesn't accept coming second best and being put on the bench and having to wait his turn to get his opportunity. He doesn't buy into the fact of a team sport. Why? Because Ronaldo buys into one thing, Ronaldo. That's what he buys into. Like I say, I love him as a player. He's absolutely awesome as a player. There's no question about that. I'm sure you guys all think the same. But we've got to be honest, guys. Just because he's a top player doesn't mean he should be behaving like a child, because he is behaving like a child. That's the reality of it. Storming down the pitch, refusing to come on. Now, obviously, I'm criticising Ronaldo because I feel it's deserved. He's a grown man behaving like a child. But I'm also going to criticise the manager, Ten Hag, because Ten Hag has also bang out of order with the way he's dealing with it. You don't drop a player of Ronaldo's caliber and profile and not expect a backlash of it. I understand he's trying to stamp his authority on the team and he's reacting to what Ronaldo's doing, but he's also reacting to the media attention of the situation when he dropped him and refused to play him against Chelsea. Now, the reason I'm pointing this out, guys, is because whether you agree with the manager or whether you agree with Ronaldo, it doesn't matter. The reality is that whether the manager wants to stamp his authority on the gate, on the squad, the team, the club, whatever you want to call it, that is understandable that he wants to do that. I get that he wants to do that, and I totally understand that. And I would normally be supportive of that. But they went to Chelsea and lost. Oh, sorry, no, they got a draw. Sorry, went to Chelsea and they got a draw, and they struggled to get that draw. Now, if Ronaldo had been on the bench, you could have brought him on, and he could have potentially helped United turn that game round. So the reason I'm pointing this out, guys, is because as much as Ten Hag is right to discipline the player, he's also wrong, because the way he's disciplining the player is about him making a statement that I'm the boss, I'm in charge, and I'm gonna tell you what you can and can't do. And if you don't do what I tell you can and can't do, then you get dropped from the team. Right? That's logical. We understand that. But the reality is that you're dropping a player that is the difference, or potentially the difference between winning and losing games. So is that in the best interest of the game, of the team, guys? Is it in the best interest of Manchester United's team, for Manchester United fans, and for the club as a whole? I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts. I don't understand how anybody can overlook that fact. Like I said, the manager is well within his rights to let Ronaldo know that he's the boss. But there is other ways he could have done it other than dropping him for that Chelsea game. So for me, like I say, the criticism's got to go at Ronaldo, because, some of the behaviour he's been displaying has been shocking. It's been shocking. But the manager also needs some criticism. And for me, like I said at the top of the live stream, as I explained, you can go back and watch it, guys. But as I said at the top of the live stream, every part of everybody involved, the manager, Ronaldo, the club, all need to take some blame with this. And the shocking thing is, is Man United's unbelievable lack of experience being displayed here, which they have got and they've had in years gone by. Come on, guys. Some of the greatest players in the world have played Man United. The likes of David Beckham, Van Nistelrooy, uh, uh, um, oh, he's gone out. His name's gone out of my head now. Cantona. Sorry, I couldn't think of his name then. Cantona. These are all big players that have all come with attitudes and egos. So Manchester United have had that experience of dealing with top players with egos and attitudes, and yet that experience doesn't seem to be evident in the club. So for me, this is where the Glazers, even though they might be in America, they're to blame because they are not making sure that the right people, the right sporting people, are in the club. The people that had that experience must be long gone from the club now because of all the changes that the Glazers have made to make Manchester United suit their business model and not suit the sporting model. You have to put the sporting aspect first before you put the business aspect. And for me, that is where the Glazers have messed up Manchester United. And that is where we find this situation arising and Manchester United looking like they haven't got a clue how to deal with it. So, yeah, like I say, I could talk about this all day, guys. There's so many aspects of this to cover. But I want to hear what you guys have got to say. Let me know in the comments. Let me know, because like I say, guys, we're only on a short stream tonight. So obviously I've rambled on for the best part of the first 20 minutes, half an hour, giving my viewpoints and stuff. But like I say, I want to hear what you guys have got to say. So drop your comments in the chat, because this is an important talking point. No matter what club you support, this is an important talking point because this is the way football is going right now. That player power is kicking in. And if players like Ronaldo, get the result they expect from this, we're going to see it keep repeating itself in the same cycle with different players and different clubs, and it's going to intensify. So, like I said, guys, want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts on this whole situation. Do you think it's good? Who do you think's to blame? Manchester United, the manager, Ronaldo? I want to hear from you guys. And don't forget, please do hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. Give the channel a chance. See if you like what we're about and what we're trying to do. Aaron is joining us. How's it going, Aaron? Appreciate you dropping in, mate. All right, guys, mate. How are you doing? I'm not too bad, mate. Obviously, just trying to jump on a stream to cover this Ronaldo topic because it's well talked about. I'm not sure if you were, mate, but the full interview is actually supposed to be out tonight. The full, it's coming out in two parts. A lot of fans think that the interview's actually come out, and I thought the same thing myself last night when I went looking for it to obviously research, ready for this video. But the full interview is actually out tonight and tomorrow night. It comes out in two parts. The first part is supposed to be released tonight, and the second part tomorrow. So obviously we got to hear the full interview to have a fair assessment of it. So we can only judge the bits and bobs that we've heard so far. But yeah, you being a Manchester United fan, Aaron, would love to know your thoughts on this. Do you find it embarrassing as to your club? Do you think Ronaldo's right to speak up? Do you think that the timing's bad? What do you think of how Manchester United are having it, are handling the situation? Like I say, any of you guys, and obviously Aaron, I would definitely love to hear from you, mate, because you're a Man United fan. But any of you guys out there, let me know in the chat. Like I say, FanDen is about fans, and I'll do these live streams to get you guys involved and hear your views and opinions. So yeah, like I say, let me know your thoughts, guys. Would love to hear from you. Pompey World, how's it going, mate? Great. I thought you'd gone, mate. I did say it before about you letting me know your thoughts. I thought you'd disappeared. I thought you just dropped in for say hi. But great to see you getting involved, mate. Appreciate you sharing your thoughts. So Pompey World is saying, I agree with Ronaldo. If we all talk about the freedom of speech and also talking about mental health, about other people, other players, and now the Ronaldo. Now that Ronaldo is speaking out the truth about the club. Well, yeah, mate, that's a fantastic point. But do you think that there's an element of Ronaldo being selfish in the way he's doing it? Because, like I said earlier in the show, mate, Ronaldo is bothered about one thing: his brand. He is not just a normal football player, unfortunately, guys. He is a brand. He's been hyped up so much by the media and the fans that he's no longer just a normal average footballer. For a long time now, Ronaldo is a brand. That's why you see boxer shorts for sale with his name on it. That's why you see deodorants for sale with his name on it. That's why you're seeing all kinds of products and footballs and all sorts of sporting goods with his name on it because he's a brand. And I think that that's where Ronaldo is, that's where he's a little bit out of order because I get why he's doing it. He's wanting to protect his brand, he's wanting to maximize his brand before he retires. I totally get that and I understand that. And I understand why he wants to leave. I was actually happy. I was supporting that he wanted to leave because I could see in the summer that it wasn't going to work out well, this situation. So when in the summer, when he wanted to leave and he made it known he wanted to leave, I actually supported him wanting to leave. And I thought that United and the Glazers were being absolute schmucks for not letting him go. But yeah, for me, I think it's a little bit, as much as you're right, you are right, you're spot on. Freedom of speech is important. I value that more than most things in the world. So I totally agree with you there, mate. But we also have to point out the other aspect, and this is a team sport. Football is not tennis. You don't play on your own. It's not darts where you play on your own. It's a team sport. And if you in a team sport, you have to be a team player. You have to be a team member. And if you go in doing interviews, chucking your team under the bus, so to speak, then that's not really being a team player. So I get what you're saying about the freedom of speech. You're spot on. We want to see more people in football coming speaking out, but we need the people that really can make a difference speaking out in football. But like I say, as much as you're right about the freedom of speech, that is spot on. You're right to say that, mate. But we also have the element of teamwork. It's a team sport because what he's doing is not what Ronaldo has done here is understandable. His beef is with Man United. We all get that. But he's actually adding more pressure to his teammates. He's creating this issue that is this storm around the whole club, and that affects his teammates as well. So as much as you're right that the freedom of speech aspect needs to come into it, and I totally 1,000% agree with that, Pompey World, mate. But like I say, there's also the team element. And, when you're coming out and chucking your toys out the pram like Ronaldo's doing, is he really being a team player? Is he really doing what's right for the team? So, yeah, like I say, excellent point, Pompey World. Absolutely spot on about freedom of speech. I totally agree with that. And I'm glad you pointed that out, mate. But like I say, there's the team aspect that has to be brought into the debate as well. But thank you very much for that, Pompey World. Fantastic comment, mate. Aaron Hart is saying it's terrible that Ronaldo has done this to the club. He seemed to love and adored. Sorry, I'll read that again. I get a bit. It's terrible that Ronaldo has done this to a club he seemed to love and adore. But I respect him for calling out the Glazers. It can do both. It can go both ways. But I'm disappointed in him. I didn't expect this. Yeah, absolutely, mate. I totally agree. We all want to see players and people at the club coming out and speaking out about the Glazers. So I absolutely, totally agree with you there, mate. It was fantastic what he's exposed about the Glazers and their lack of involvement and their lack of investment. Absolutely spot on. You're right with that, mate. But unfortunately, I think that it's kind of a 50-50, isn't it, mate? Some of this is right, what Ronaldo's saying, and some of it's wrong. Or it's not that it's wrong, it's just bad timing. It's bad timing, and it looks selfish. It's not the fact that of he's speaking out. I think we all agree and are happy to see players speaking out. But if you're a real football fan, I think we all know as real football fans, the timing stinks. The timing is everything. And it just, because of when he's doing it, the timing of it, it just looks very selfish. It really does. And like I say, Pompey World earlier saying about freedom of speech, spot on. Aaron now obviously saying about him speaking out about the Glazers, spot on. But it's just the timing. It stinks, guys. It really does stink. It looks so selfish. And like I say, even though Pompey were pointing out about the freedom of speech, which all of us in football, I'm sure, would love to see more of that in football. We would all, as fans, we would definitely love to see more of that coming from players, managers, people that are involved in the game that can let us know what is going on that we don't see. So we all want to see that. But I think we need to tackle that in a different way because the FA seem to be the ones that are against freedom of speech. Because if they weren't, they wouldn't be suppressing managers like they are. But that's a debate for another day. But my point is that we want to see this. We want to see interviews like this. It's just the timing, guys. The timing looks very selfish. It looks like he's done it deliberately because he can go market himself now in the World Cup and try and get out of Manchester United. So for me, as much as what he's saying in what we've seen in the interviews is right, and we want to hear this stuff, and we want to hear players talking and coming out and speaking out. We do want to hear that. It just looks, from my point of view, I think it just looks selfish, the timing of it. But like I say, you guys entitled to your opinion, and that's why I do the live streams. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Drop your comments in the chat, and like I say, please do hit that like button. Help more fans see us on YouTube. But thank you very much for that, Aaron. Absolutely. Great comment as usual. Aaron also saying we got to sell him in January. Well, apparently, I don't know how true this is, mate. I agree, you've got to sell him in January. I totally agree. But apparently, so it was reported on a certain media outlet, which I'm not going to give any extra promotion to because they get enough. But I'm sure you guys know who I'm talking about. A certain media company last night that I was watching announced that apparently Manchester United have had him available for a free transfer for most of this season. Now, whether it's true, I don't know. I don't know because I would agree with Aaron. It looks from the outside looking in like Manchester United have hung on to him because they want money for him. So they're happy to sell him. They're happy to let him go, but they want a transfer fee. And that seems to be why they're hanging on to him. Because if they were just going to let him go, they could have let him go in the summer. And they didn't do that. They could have just ripped up his contract and said, right, yeah, go on your way. But they didn't do that. So this implies that Manchester United want a transfer fee. Now, a certain media company, like I'm saying, I'm not going to say the name, but I'm sure you guys know who I'm on about. They was reporting last night that Manchester United have had him on a free transfer available for any club to come and get him over the last few months while the season's been going on. So read into that what you will. I don't know what you guys make of that. Do you think it's true? Do you think it's maybe just a certain media company making their own interpretation of it? I don't know. But like I said, let me know your thoughts, guys. If you knew that or you didn't know that, I would love to know from you. So let's see what Aaron is also saying. I agree, Pompey. I just think with the way he's disrespecting the manager and Wayne Rooney as well is ridiculous. There was no need him being so disrespectful to them both. Yeah, that's a fantastic point, mate. I think like I say, I've got to be honest with Aaron. I've got to be honest and agree with Aaron to a certain extent. I understand Ronaldo coming out and attacking the club with what he's got to say, even attacking the Glazers. Absolutely, we want to see that. We want to see more transparency coming from players about owners and their involvement and what they do and don't do. As fans, we all want to see that from every club aspect. So I absolutely agree with you. With regards to the players, I think I don't understand why. I think Rooney's just like I say. This is where it looks like he's just tucking his toys out the pram, guys. Because why is he coming out attacking so many aspects? He's attacked the club. He's attacked the owners. He's attacked the manager. He's attacked former players. If he'd have just come out and attacked Man United and the manager, I think we'd all understand it a bit better. But the fact that he's aiming his anger and his frustration in this interview in so many different directions, it looks like a player just chucking his toys out of the pram. It really does. We've got to be honest about it, guys. As much as we want to hear players speaking up, we do want to hear that. That's the frustrating thing about this whole situation. I'm sure that you guys are agreeing with me that it's nice to see players coming out and speaking out about things we want to hear about that we don't hear about. It's great to see that. But a player coming out attacking so many different people, the club, the manager, ex-players that he used to play with, players that he's playing with now, it just looks like he's chucking his toys out the pram because he's not getting his own way. So instead of sitting down and being a bit more humble and a bit more professional and saying, yes, I'm going to give this interview, but I'm only going to stick to these aspects and I'll leave the rest alone for now. Because there's plenty of time for Ronaldo to give more interviews in the future. Come on, guys. He's one of the most popular players in the world. Every media company in the world would want to give him opportunity to have an interview. So there's plenty of other opportunities for him to come out and criticize. But he's come out and he's done an interview and he's firing his anger and his frustration in every direction. And that to me is just evidence that shows that this is a player that is basically chucking his toys out the pram because he's not getting the attention that he wants and he's not getting it all his own way. And that is just very selfish. It's not teamwork. There's no team mentality in that, guys. But that's my opinion. Like I said, that's my opinion. Let me know your thoughts. Drop your comments in the chat and I will read them out. Let's hear what you guys have got to say. Those, as always, we have some fantastic comments coming in the chat. So thanks for that, Aaron. Appreciate it, mate. Aaron also saying, but I like how he's called out the owners as well. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Like I said, I'm sure you agree. There's aspects of this interview that are refreshing to hear a player coming out and speaking out. But it's the fact that he's aiming his anger and frustration in so many different directions that is questionable. So yeah, thanks for that, Aaron. Absolutely, as always, mate. Some great comments. Appreciated. Pompey World is saying, would have done the same myself. I've gone in the similar situation as Ronaldo when it comes to playing a teammate, turning the backs on him. That feeling is very toxic. Toxic environment affects. Toxic. I'm not sure if you meant to carry on there, mate, or that's the end of it. Looks like you meant to carry on. Toxic turned back on him, and that feels is very toxic. Like I say, mate, as I said earlier, Pompey World, I do agree, mate. You're right. The freedom of speech aspect, we're all buzzing to hear that. We are, but you want if you want your teammates to stand by you, you have to stand by them. So I get what you're saying, mate. You know, he's not happy that teammates or former teammates are talking out or speaking out about him in the press, stuff like that. I totally agree with that aspect of what you're saying. But if you want teammates to be loyal to you, you've got to be loyal to them as well. And let's be honest, Ronaldo, says things that suit his narrative. Let's be honest. He's got a narrative, and the narrative is his brand. CR7 is a brand, so that's Ronaldo's narrative. So I totally agree what you're saying, Pompey World. In some aspects, but in some aspects, I'm sorry, mate, I disagree because as much as the freedom of speech thing is important, the team aspect is also important. It's important. You want teammates to show you loyalty. You have to show them loyalty. And when you have a player coming out speaking about how the team's being run, what's going on in the dressing room, what's going on the training pitch, how things are being done, you're not just speaking out about the manager. Then you're speaking out about your teammates as well. You're causing an imbalance. You're causing your teammates to be unhappy with you because you're speaking out. He might not be happy with what's going on at Carrington, but that doesn't mean all his teammates are not happy with what's going on at Carrington. They might be happy. So you have to consider the team. This is a team sport. If Ronaldo wants to come out and tell the world all his frustrations, he's going to have plenty of time for that very soon when he retires, mate. He's going to have all the time in the world to come out and do interview after interview and give his reaction to every club that he has played for and everything that he's experienced in football. And everybody will be eager to listen. But doing it while you're still playing for a club and you're doing things and saying things that affect the team mentality and the team morale, that's questionable, mate. It's questionable. But thank you very much, Pompey World. Appreciate you sharing your thoughts, mate. Obviously, you're a bit frustrated, maybe with that. I'm getting the impression you're a bit frustrated at the criticism that Ronaldo's get. But to be fair, mate, if he's going to come out and speak like he has and speak openly and freely in the mainstream media, then if he's going to speak, he's got to accept the criticism. You're going to speak out. You're going to expect that everybody else is going to have an opinion on it. So yeah, but thanks for that, Pompey World. Appreciated, mate. Lionel Thompson, how's it going, Lionel? Great to have you with us, mate. Guys, just to let you know, I'm in the process of trying to do a video with Lionel. So there will be a Derby video coming on at some point on the channel, probably towards the end of the World Cup when we start getting back to football. But keep your eyes out for that. Because it will be coming hopefully in the weeks ahead. Great interview that I'm trying to sort out with Lionel. We actually did do it the other day, but we had some recording issues, so it was looked like we're going to have to re-record it. But yeah, look out for that, guys, if you're interested to know more about Derby. And like I say, it's also about getting you guys involved in the channel. So hopefully that video will be coming out before the end of the World Cup. So keep your eyes out for that, guys. But Lionel, thank you very much for joining us, mate. Appreciated. Great to have you involved and hear your thoughts on this situation. Lionel is saying, "Hello, guys. I'm on now. Sorry, I'm out at Weatherspoons at the moment. But my thoughts on CR7. Yeah, I think he needs to move on and retire. No club is gonna put up with his disgusting attitude." Well, there you go, mate. Spot on. See, this is what I was saying earlier in the show, mate, guys. This is the problem with what Ronaldo has done with this interview. You know, as much as we want to see the freedom of speech, the way he's doing it and the way he's done it, he's going to put off our clubs off wanting to sign him because no club is going to want that kind of media attention, negative media attention. And Lionel Thompson is spot on with what he's saying. He's doing this, and he's now just gone and put any potential clubs that wanted to get him. He's putting them off because no club is going to want to bring in a player that is going to cause them this kind of media headache and this kind of negative attention. So absolutely, well said, Lionel. Absolutely, mate. It's great to see you have recognised one of the big drawbacks to his interview. And like I say, guys, I don't want to criticise Ronaldo for speaking out because it's refreshing to see players speaking out. But it's just the handling of how it's come about, the timing of it. There's just so many different aspects to cover in this. But like I said, guys, if you're not aware of it, this full interview is not actually out yet. It comes out tonight. It comes out at 10 o'clock tonight. Part 1 is tonight and part 2 is tomorrow night. I looked it up last night. So the mainstream media have been reacting to little clips that have been released in preparation for the full interview coming out. And the full interview comes out tonight at about 10 o'clock, so I believe, which is part 1. And then part 2 comes out tomorrow night. So there's more to come with this, guys. There's more that he's got to say that we haven't heard. But I'm buzzing to hear that Lionel has spotted the obvious mistake that Ronaldo has made by giving this interview at this time, and that is that he's potentially just put off other clubs who would want him because they won't want that kind of media attention, that negative media attention. So yeah, thanks for that, Lionel. Absolutely spot on, mate. Great comment. Aaron is saying, yeah, it's true that Man United it's true that Man United, even if we're playing well, it's still very toxic. But I do think Ten Hag has disrespected him as well, though. But I prefer him to be benched. I think we play better without him. Well, mate, absolutely, I cannot argue with that. You're spot on. You're right. The manager hasn't dealt with the situation well. Spot on with that comment, and I totally agree with what you're saying about Ronaldo being on the bench. But this is the point, what I said earlier in the show, guys. As much as Aaron is spot on with what he's saying, Ronaldo doesn't want to settle for second best. That's the reality that we're in. We're in a situation where you've got an older player that doesn't want to accept that his best days are behind him. He doesn't want to accept that he's now the kind of player that is a squad player. He doesn't want to accept being a squad player. He wants to be in the first 11. And as long as you've got a player with that kind of attitude, and rightly so, because of his experience and because of his success, it's understandable why a player like Ronaldo would want to be in the first 11 and not considered a squad player. I'm sure we can all understand that. He's reached the highest heights in football. So it is totally, totally understandable why he still wants to keep playing and wants to be in that first 11. But like Aaron has just said, the team is playing better at times without him in the team. But Ronaldo doesn't want to accept that. So, this is where the Glazers have handled this situation in the poorest way. And this is why, as I said at the top of the show, for me, the majority of the blame for this situation has got to land with the club. We can criticise Ronaldo all day long for things he said and this, that, and the other, but the reality is, a club the size of Manchester United, with the experience they've got of top players in that dressing room in years gone by, should have the experience to deal with this better, and they haven't. Because why? In my opinion, and this is just my personal opinion, the reason they haven't handled it better is because all the Glazers see is that Man United having Ronaldo is very marketable. They don't care about the issues that the manager's got to deal with fitting him into the team, and the fact that Ronaldo won't settle for sitting on the bench. They don't care about that. All the Glazers care about is the pound signs, because they see that potentially one of the world's best players is playing for Manchester United, and that makes them more marketable, makes them more profitable. These people, the Glazers, are not football people. They are businessmen, and this is more evidence of them using their business brain and not their sports brain. And why are they not using the sports brain? Because it appears from the outside looking in, guys, that they don't have a sports brain. So, like I say, absolutely spot on from Aaron there with regards to the his opinion on it. And unfortunately, you're right, mate. The situation at United, just it's toxic, and it's staying toxic. It dies down for a few weeks and then it gets toxic again, and it's madness, absolute madness. So yeah, thanks for that, Aaron, mate. Absolutely, great comment as usual. Lionel is saying, I don't think you will sell him in January, Aaron. His contract expires at the end of the season, so you can release him or see out his contract. Then he'll probably retire. Well, I think we're in the situation, guys. What Arsenal was in with. I'm trying to think. They had a player a while back, and they had to let him go. Without getting a transfer fee. I can't remember who was it. There was a player in their team. I can't remember. He was causing some problems, and they ended up cutting his contract, ending his contract, and letting him leave on a free in January. And I think we're in the situation where United, whether the Glazers like it or not, they're going to have to consider this. They're going to, for the best interest of the club and the team moving forward and progressing, they're going to have to cut. They're going to have to accept that they might not get a transfer fee, Ronaldo. The question is, will they accept that? That's the question, guys. But yeah, absolutely, great comment, Lionel. I think you're right, mate. I think United are going to struggle to get a transfer fee for him in the transfer window because of the way they handle the situation, and because of this, what's going on, and Ronaldo coming out and speaking out in the way he has. So you're spot on, Lionel. I think it's going to be a big task for Man United to get a transfer fee, and I think they might just have to cut their losses and let him go on a free. So thanks for that, Lionel. Absolutely great comment, mate. Aaron is saying, true, mate. To be honest, I don't think a club would want him because he's turned equistical. Egotistical. Sorry, mate. Egotistical a bit now, and I don't think any top club would want him in case the club turns toxic. Absolutely spot on. I couldn't have said it better, Aaron. That's the reality. But I think, to be honest, I think he's not just turned egotistical. Ronaldo's always been egotistical, but the thing is, he's always had the talent and age on his side to be like that. Now he's got age going against him, and he's slowing up, and he doesn't want to accept it. And we all understand that. I understand that as a football fan. I respect his desire to want to keep playing and to want to still be a first team player. I respect that so much. But the reality is, guys, is every player has to go through this period as they reach the last couple of years of their professional career. They have to accept that they are no longer a first team starter and that they are squad players. And unfortunately, we're in a situation like now where Ronaldo doesn't want to accept that. And that is why we have this whole situation escalating out of control. But yeah, absolutely, Aaron. Well said, mate. Thanks for that. Pompey World. So freedom is not valid in general, but then you want super player support. Then you want support players with mental health, but at the same time, Truth hurts. Well, mate, I'm not sure what you're getting at there. The mental health aspect of it, that's another debate for another day because we're not talking about that. And to me, I think as much as mental health is important, and we do need to do the right things for mental health, I agree with that. But the reality is, let's be honest, mate. Mental health is also being used as a scapegoat. It's also being used as an excuse. Um, for people to shy away from the truth. You're talking about freedom of speech and people speaking truth. Well, if people are going to speak truth, you also have to bear in mind that some people hide behind illness to avoid speaking the truth. People like as much as there is people like myself out there that speak the truth, there's also people out there that like to be hypochondriacs. Look up every illness that they possibly can to draw attention to themselves. So I don't really, I kind of understand what you're saying, and I take on board what you're saying, mate. But I don't really want to get into the whole mental health debate thing right now because, like I say, that's something to debate for another issue, another day, mate. I get there is elements of this. Um, and like I say, for me, I'm trying to understand both sides. I'm criticizing Ronaldo, but I'm also understanding Ronaldo because, like I say, the what he's been saying about his family and the lack of understanding. He's claiming that Man United showed no compassion towards him with the family issues he's got. And if that is true, then that's an absolute disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. Um, but like I say, there's just so many aspects with regards to this to cover that I think it's probably just best. And plus, I can't stay on too much longer, mate, because I've got other commitments tonight. Unfortunately, I would love to stream about this all night and debate it, but I think the mental health aspect is something that we need to debate another day, mate. But we're just trying to debate the full facts of what has been released. But yeah, you make a good point, mate. You do make a good point. But like I say, it's a little bit that takes us deeper into it, and we just like I said, we can't get deeper into it until we hear the full interview, which doesn't come out until tonight and tomorrow night, mate. So, like I say, but thanks for that, Pompey World. Appreciate your thoughts, sharing your opinion, mate. Lionel Thompson, no Champions League. Want no Champions League wants to take him into so that's why he should just probably retire. Well, I don't see him retire, mate. I really don't. I don't think he retire. He's got too much ambition. He still wants to. Let's be honest. Ronaldo and Messi are going to play as long as they can because they've been in competition with each other for years, for trophies, for goals, for everything. So them two players are going to push themselves right to the limit, competing with each other before they retire. So I can't see Ronaldo retiring just yet, mate. But yeah, I think the situation has escalated to become unnecessarily deep. But yeah, you're right. I think what you're trying to say there is no Champions League club will want to take him. Um, and you're right. I think, like I said, I think Ronaldo's not thought about that. He's not thought about that. All he's thinking about is how do I get out of Man United. He's not thinking about. It doesn't. Well, it doesn't appear that he's thinking what I can say and do could affect other clubs wanting to sign me. It doesn't seem to be that that's getting that is the advice he's been given. But yeah, thanks for that, Lionel. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts, mate. Another point is I think he's turned selfish. This is Aaron, obviously. Selfish. We should be talking about Garnacho and how wonderful he's been. But Ronaldo's made it all about him. Now we should be talking about Garnacho vs Fulham. Yeah, absolutely. You're talking about the young lad, I think, there that did absolutely. But yeah, absolutely, mate. We should be talking about all sorts. The World Cup is days away. We should be talking about that. I don't want to. Obviously, as you know, mate. I'm only doing the live stream because this is the big talking point in the media at the minute. So I'd be stupid not to give it some consideration to cover on the channel. But I do agree with you, mate. We should not be talking about this. We should be talking about the World Cup. The football is supposed to be the World Cup is the perfect the perfect thing that's supposed to help bring peace and bring people together. That is, it's one of the biggest sporting uh, uh, um, events in the world. Every 4 years it comes round. It's one of the biggest events in the world of sport. So we should be talking about that and how we can use football to to bring countries together, bring people together, stop all these wars and how we can get countries to start being more reasonable and understanding to each other and have better relations. But unfortunately, like you say, we're faced with a player that is, I've got to agree with Aaron. It does look so selfish, this from Ronaldo. As much as there is good points to point out about what Ronaldo has done and said, there is also a lot in it, and it just, on the face of it, it just looks very selfish. It looks like he's doing it all about himself. Because this is not in the doing this interview is not in the best interest of Manchester United. It's not in the best interest of the team, and it's not in the best interest of Ronaldo. And why? It's not the interview doing it. That's not the problem. It's the timing that he's done it. It's the timing of it. But yeah, thanks for that, Aaron. I'm going to try and quickly rattle through the rest of these comments because, like I said, unfortunately, guys, I'm on a bit of a time. As you know, most of the time we do live streams, I'm not on a time restriction. But unfortunately, tonight I am on a time restriction. So I'm going to try and quickly rattle through the rest of these comments. Lionel, I don't think Ronaldo is good enough to play in the Champions League. He should go to the MLS or back home to Lisbon for a couple of years, then end his career. It's what's best for him now. Mate, well, I think he could still play for a Champions League club. I just don't think it would necessarily be one of the top Champions League clubs that Ronaldo would want to play for. But there's no reason why he couldn't still play and do a job for a club like Porto. He could go and play for Porto. They regularly qualify for Champions League. He could play for a club like Roma. There is a few clubs that he could potentially still do a job for, scoring goals. Like I say, these clubs would maybe not want to have him in the first 11 every game, and that's where the problem comes. Ronaldo wants to play every game, and most clubs are going to look at his age and look at how he's playing now, and look at the fact that you have to adjust the team to cater for Ronaldo being in it because he doesn't have the legs that he used to. So yeah, absolutely, Aaron. Fantastic comment, mate. I'm slightly disagreeing with you on a little aspect on that, mate, because I do think there is still some of the, a couple, a handful of Champions League clubs or potential Champions League clubs that could still make use of him, and he could be helpful to them. But I think I get what you mean in the top Champions League clubs. I think he doesn't have the legs to give them clubs what they need right anymore. So yeah, absolutely, Aaron. Thanks for that great comment, mate. Um, Pompey World, loyalty. Where's the loyalty from the club to the fans, which is disrespectful as well? Yeah, mate. Well, obviously, there's the loyalty aspect. We can talk about that all day long, really, because the loyalty. Fans have shown Ronaldo loyalty. Fans could have questioned whether he's shown them that loyalty. We can also talk about the loyalty that players, that other players, has he shown loyalty to his teammates, his present teammates, his former teammates? So there's a whole bracket we could talk about there, Pompey World, with regards to loyalty, mate. Yeah, absolutely spot on. That's definitely another big aspect of this whole situation. But yeah, thanks for that, Pompey World. Great comment, mate. Definitely great to hear you pointing out the loyalty aspect, because, like I say, that's a big talking point in the whole grand scheme of it as well. Aaron Hart, exactly, man, exactly. Man United fans have already have adored and loved him for years. He's a club legend, but I feel like this interview could affect his legacy at Man United a little bit, but I hope it doesn't, honestly. Yeah, absolutely. Aaron, I couldn't have said it better, mate. I couldn't have said it better. That, hopefully it doesn't affect it too much, because, like I say, he's a fan's favourite. He's a fan's favourite, and we hope and pray that it stays like that. Let's hope that he doesn't say too much in this interview that would damage that. But yeah, um, like you say, it's going to be interesting in it to see what the rest of this interview says tonight. But yeah, Aaron, absolutely got to agree. It's what's the word I'm looking for? Um, it's disappointing. It's disappointing to see that he might have damaged his relationship with the fans. Let's hope he hasn't. Let's hope he hasn't. But it is disappointing that he might have. Aaron also saying he's decided to do it because he wants because he won't be at Man United for a month. He's going to Qatar with Portugal. He's timed it well because he's away from Man United for a while. But I think Ten Hag will talk with him. Yeah, mate, I heard it talked about last night quite a bit because I was doing trying to get more facts on it, researching and stuff. And there is pundits and people in the football world that think that might have sealed his doom at Manchester United and that he might not play for United. It's quite evident in it, guys, that this interview does seem to be being released for Ronaldo to get out the club. It seemed that's the way it looks. It looks like he's done it to get a reaction so he can get out of Manchester United. We've all known all season he doesn't want to be there. So what is the point? This is an ancient football debate about keeping players that don't want to be at the club. So yeah, for me, like I say, for me, the majority of the blame for this situation has to go to Manchester United. We can criticise Ronaldo until the cows come on. We can criticise him all day long, and he deserves some criticism, no question about it. But for me, the biggest fault with this situation has got to come with with Man United and the owners and the way the club is being run. They are the biggest ones at fault for me in this whole situation. Did I read that comment? I did. I did. Aaron is saying a point. Apparently, it's come out that Man United have fined him £1 million for the interview in not sure. I'm not sure it's a good fine. Ronaldo is a billionaire, still earning £350,000 at Man United. Yeah, absolutely, mate. I don't. If that is the case, I don't think United will have released that into the media. That's probably if you've heard that, mate. I reckon that's more media speculation, to be honest, mate. Because the interview does. I heard it last night when I was researching it. Apparently, Manchester United lawyers, Ronaldo lawyers, Premier League lawyers. Apparently, all the lawyers are waiting to see this full interview, which comes out tonight. The first part is tonight, the second part tomorrow. And apparently, all the lawyers are waiting to see the rest of the interview to see if there's any kind of legal case. So I can't see Manchester United announcing a fine for Ronaldo until they've got all the facts. It'd be stupid when they haven't seen the full interview. They've got to see the full interview. And like I say, it hasn't been released, the full interview yet. So I'm sure there may be rumours about Ronaldo being fined £1 million. But like I say, they can't fine him just yet, guys, because like I say, the interview has not been released yet. So I'm sure the people at Man United are wanting to see the full interview before they make a decision about how they're going to deal with this. But thanks for that, Aaron, mate. Great to have that input because I'm sure you've probably seen it, mate. You are right. But I think that might be a bit of fake news coming from one of the mainstream media outlets if you've actually heard that, mate. Because, like I say, everything I was hearing last night was that the club, the Premier League, everybody involved have got lawyers all standing by, waiting to analyse every word that he says in the full interview. And like I say, so over the next few days, guys, we're going to see this more. We're going to see this more because, like I said, the interview has not even been released. Apparently, it comes out part 1 tonight, part 2 tonight, tomorrow. So over the next few days, it's going to be all over the media, leading right up to the opening of the World Cup. So yeah, but thanks for that, Aaron, mate. Appreciate that insight. Like I say, good insight. Some of what the media are reporting. Aaron also saying, I reckon Ten Hag is still learning as well. He hasn't had to deal with big egos like like at Man United, so I can see how he handled it wrong, as he's still learning his way into the club. Well, yeah, mate, absolutely, that's a great point. Yeah, I think he has made mistakes with the way he's handled this situation. I totally agree with you, mate. And like you say, maybe one thing that we are overlooking is the fact that we know he's an experienced manager, but is he an experienced manager dealing with these kind of players, this high level? And like Aaron is pointing out there, in that aspect, Ten Hag has still got a lot of learning to do. So in that respect, we've got to cut him a bit of slack. Um, Absolutely fantastic point, that Aaron. I'm glad you pointed that out, mate. Really appreciated. Guys, please do hit that like button if you could. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. See if you like what we're trying to do with the Fanden project. It'd be great to have more fans involved because Fanden is about you guys. It's about involving you in the channel and helping you guys have your opinions heard in the football world. Um, but yeah, thanks for that, Aaron, mate. Great comment as usual, and absolutely point. Love it when you guys point out things that I don't always. Because like I say, I sit here and I try and cover as much different aspects of a debate as possible, but there's only obviously so much I can remember. Dylan, how's it going? Dylan PFC underscore DY4 is Dylan. Pompey fan. Hi guys, how are you? My apologies for being late. I've been pretty busy. I have my mocks next week. Right. So you're busy with the exams. That would explain why I've not seen you as much this season, mate. I was only thinking it the other day. I've not spoken seen Dylan as much this season, but yeah, I do remember now you telling me a while back that you was going to be a bit more focused with exams. So yeah, that's understandable, Dylan. Hope it's all going well, mate. And yeah, get your head into them books because it's an important part of an important time in your life right now. So give it everything you can with the exams. But thanks for dropping in, Dylan. Always appreciated, mate. Aaron is saying, I agree. I think the fact that Ronaldo isn't in his prime anymore, it's bothering him. That's why he's doing everything he's done. I think he's going. I'm Ronaldo. What? So I'm not reading that right. Bothering. I agree. I think the fact Ronaldo isn't in his prime anymore is bothering him. That's why he's doing everything he's doing. I think he's going. I'm Ronaldo. Why am I on the bench? He's getting egotistical. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, mate. I think he's always been a bit egotistical, hasn't he? Let's be honest. He's always been a bit like that, but it's never been too much of an issue before, has it? Because he had youth on his side where it allowed him to be that egotistical. But like you say, now he's at an older age and he's coming to the end. He doesn't seem to want to accept that he's not guaranteed to play anymore. He doesn't want to accept that, and it's a shame that part of his career has now started happening at Man United because it's damaged. It's damaged that awesome respect and respect and love that the club and the fans have between himself and the club and Ronaldo. So yeah, absolutely, Aaron. Great statement as usual. Dylan is saying, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just going to try and quickly rattle through these messages now because I really need to jump off in a minute. I was only supposed to be on for an hour and we've been on an hour and 20 minutes and I've got to take my wife to work very shortly. Dylan is saying, I think Ronaldo has thrown his toys out of the pram at this stage. Absolutely, Dylan. Yeah, we said that earlier, mate. So yeah, like I said, I think there's an element of that. There's criticism in every direction with this, guys. Ronaldo, the club, the manager, everybody has to take an element of criticism, including Ronaldo. Whether he likes it or not, he does have to take a responsibility for some criticism. And if he's going to come out and speak like he has, then you have to take some criticism. But for me, guys, as I've said earlier, the biggest part of this that needs the criticism is the club. It's the club. They set themselves up for this situation by keeping hold of him. We all knew he wanted to leave in the summer and they kept hold of him. And probably the reason I think they kept hold of him is because all that the Glazers saw was the pound signs. Because Ronaldo is a superstar, he's a world brand. So the Glazers don't want to let him go because they just see, oh well, we keep hold of him, we sell more shirts, we make more money. And they didn't look at the impact that keeping a player like Ronaldo was going to have on the imbalance in the team and the unsettling in the dressing room. So that for me. But yeah, absolutely, Dylan. Thanks for that, mate. The player Dylan also saying the player only care about his larger their salary is. How large? Oh, sorry. The players only care about how large their salaries is. Yeah, well, that's another thing that we could have obviously pointed out and debated, mate. Yeah, that's a great point. I think it has become more about money, but like I said, I don't think it's about money with Ronaldo because he makes a fortune, mate. So I think you're right with what you're saying in a lot of other cases. I think when we've seen a lot of the Pogba issues and stuff like that, I think a lot of that was down to money. But I think with Ronaldo, I don't. He's made so much money. He's a billionaire. He's not a millionaire. He's a billionaire. He's made that much money out of football. He's a very, very rich man. So I don't think it's so much to do with the money, mate. I think this is about Ronaldo's legacy. Ronaldo is seeing that the window is closing on his career, and he's maximised all his career up until this point, and he wants to keep maximising it. He might have 2 years left to play, and he wants to finish on a high. He doesn't want to finish his career sitting on the bench. He's got He's got records, world records to break that he's competed with Messi for most of his career. He's got achievements, successes, trophies, all this kind of stuff that he's been striving for all his career, and he wants to finish on a high. He wants to run that ambition right till the last opportunity he's got. So for me, I think that this is not so much about the money. I think it's more about him wanting to finish his career on a high, and he's putting that in his mind first rather than anything else. But thank you very much for that, Dylan. Great comment, and appreciate getting involved, mate. Always appreciate you guys sharing your thoughts. Aaron is saying, so true, Dylan, mate. But some of the players at Man United have started to turn up. I feel like the dressing room isn't as toxic with Ten Hag as last year. Well, yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we've got to take Aaron's opinion on board because he's a massive Man United fan. So he would have a better understanding of that than we do because he watches Man United a lot. Obviously, being a Man United fan. So yeah, absolutely, mate. And I have to agree. It does seem like there's a better team spirit within the team of Manchester United when they're playing. And like I say, these off-field issues with Ronaldo are just a massive distraction. So yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that, Aaron. Sorry, guys, I am just trying to rattle through these last few comments because I really need to get off time. I'm just seeing that clock tick by now, and I've already over how long I was supposed to be on. Normally, like you say, guys, I wouldn't rush live streams, but tonight I'm on a real time restriction. Aaron is saying, I think the fact Ronaldo has a lot of stuff happening with the family, like his son dying hasn't helped with the whole situation. I imagine he still feels really bad after his son died. Mate, absolutely. That's what I mean. I did, to be honest, I would have done a longer stream tonight, guys. I didn't expect as many fans to come and have their say on it. I thought it would have been a little bit quieter stream. So absolutely buzzing to see you guys come and sharing your thoughts. And unfortunately, we haven't had time to cover absolutely every aspect of this, but we might do another show yet, guys. We might do another show because obviously, like I say, the full interview is released first part tonight, second part tomorrow. So watch it. And like I say, if it's necessary, I will schedule another stream so we can debate this more. But Aaron is spot on. You know, I will give some criticism to Ronaldo, and I have given some criticism to Ronaldo tonight. But in that aspect, with the regards to his children and the lack of sympathy or compassion coming from the club, that's questionable. If that has actually happened from Manchester United and they have shown that lack of compassion towards him with his family issues, then that is definitely questionable. But like I said, we will have to see what the full interview discusses and declares. But absolutely, Aaron, I totally agree, mate, that it's really sad what has happened with Ronaldo and his family. And we obviously, I'm sure you guys join me in sending our best wishes to him with his children and the difficult time that he's had. and we hope that the future is brighter with regards to his family issues. But yeah, thanks for that, Aaron. I'm not going to touch on that too much, mate, because like I said, I really need to jump off in a minute. But thanks for that. Excellent, excellent point from Aaron. Well pointed out. Dylan is also Dylan is saying, I think he has brought this upon himself. However, regardless of who the player is, the way that the club treats some players is appalling. Yeah, spot on, Aaron. Sorry, Dylan. Absolutely, mate. You said it. You said it. Bang on there. It's the whole situation is just shocking, and there's blame that can be aimed at everybody. The manager, the player, and especially the club. But unfortunately, like you say, Dylan, um, yeah, the whole situation has just spilled out of control, hasn't it? It's just spilled out of control, and it's getting thingy. You guys keep putting comments. I'm going to have to call it a day in a minute because I really need to go. I'm going to make my missus late for work if I don't jump off in a minute. Um, I didn't expect the stream to be as active as this, to be honest, guys. So I'm really sorry. I'm going to have to miss out some of these comments in a minute because I really need to go. I don't want to make my wife late for work. Emma M Mad M Mad. I presume that's your title, mate. Thanks for joining us, mate. Great to see you get involved in the chat. Always appreciate new fans coming, getting involved. And yeah, hopefully you like what you're seeing with the channel, mate. Let's hear what you got to say. I feel like Messi did the same thing last year, talking against Barcelona board, but he did not get half as much as hate as Ronaldo is getting right now. Plus, Messi had issues with Quacar, uh, Setien. I'm sorry, I can't read that, mate. I'm not great at reading names, too. But yeah, yeah, mate, that is a fantastic point. Absolutely spot on, mate. You're right to point that out. We've got Mad. We've got to give massive respect to him for pointing that out because I had actually overlooked that. You are spot on to say that, mate. That that Messi did a similar thing. I don't know how bad the criticism was towards Messi because he doesn't play in the UK. So I do remember all that, and you're right to point that out, mate. That Ronaldo has had a lot of criticism, or he's getting a lot of criticism. But I think he's getting a lot of criticism because it seems like he's come out firing his frustration and his anger in a lot of directions. If he'd just come out and criticised the club or just the manager, I think that would be understandable. I think the reason he's getting the reaction that he has is because Ronaldo has come out and criticised the manager, the club, the owners, former players, even the media. He's criticizing everybody in every direction. So I think that's why he's getting some criticism. But on here, mate, we're not criticizing. We're not criticizing just Renat. We're criticizing the whole situation. We're analyzing every aspect, or we're trying to analyze every aspect of it and give a fair assessment. And I'm sorry, but as much as there is fans out there that absolutely love Ronaldo, and I do, as a player, he's fantastic. I love watching Ronaldo. He's top, and he's a great player and an inspiration to many youngsters. So I would love to agree. I do agree that he deserves a certain amount of respect. But at the same time, mate, if he's going to come out and speak so openly in the media, then he leaves himself open for that criticism, and you're going to have that where a lot of people want to have their opinion on the situation, and there's nothing he can do about it, and he can't complain about it because he's come out so openly in the media and speaking out. Mad is saying the media has a bias against Ronaldo is insane. I don't think it's bias, mate. It's just media taking advantage of his name, innit? Let's be honest. He's such a high profile player, and he's so popular that the media are just jumping all over it because it's easy headlines for him. So I don't so much. I'm not sure I agree. I get where you're coming from, and maybe some media outlets are biased against him. I'll agree with that. But I think the whole media as a whole, the mainstream media, are just jumping all over this because it's easy news for them, mate. It's easy news. They haven't got to go out while Ronaldo's talking out. It makes it easy for him to create headline news without them having to actually go out and find some news. So yeah, but excellent points there from M Mad. Appreciated, mate. Guys, I'm serious that I cannot read all these comments now. I'm going to have to jump off in a minute. I'll try to quickly rattle through them. Aaron Hart, yeah, it's true. I feel like everyone hates Ronaldo for no reason, just because he's a fantastic player. I always see people hyping Messi, then hating on Ronaldo. It's unfair on him. Yeah, absolutely. I do agree with that, mate. I think that there is a lot of people. There's a lot of fans out there that won't hear a bad word said against Messi, but I think there's a lot of fans out there that won't hear a bad word said about Ronaldo. So I think that it's a bit even in both. But yeah, I have noticed it myself, mate. I have noticed that seems to be a lot more fans want to criticise Ronaldo than there is Messi. Messi, a lot of fans seem to want to protect Messi no matter what. He's like, he's untouchable in respect of criticism. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. So yeah, excellent point from Aaron. Dylan is saying, just out of curiosity, Gaz, what are those books on the shelf at your left hand side? Football books, mate. Football books. Got I've not read them all. But, got some older books. I'm not sure if you guys can Greaves here, Saints. One of my favourite books, Stevie Gerrard. Rio Ferdinand. Obviously, some other books, and also a book about my club, Bolton. Um, I'll sort them out in a minute. So there you go, guys. If you wanted to have a closer look at what books are on the shelf, that's just some of them that are on the shelf. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Dylan. They're football books, mate. They're football books. I haven't actually. I've read some of them. I haven't read them all because obviously it's always trying to find the time to read them. But yeah, I love all aspects of football. I love watching stuff, but I also love reading stuff as well. So yeah, they're all football books, mate. Some are players that I respect, some players that I don't respect. But obviously, it's always best to hear what they've got to say for themselves. So that hopefully that gives you a clearer picture of what books are there, mate. Dylan is saying, "Hope you have a good evening, mate." Thank you very much, Dylan. Massive thanks for joining us on the show. Appreciated. M Mad, this was my first time here. Have a great evening. Thank you, M Mad. Appreciate you dropping in, mate. Hopefully, great to see you on future shows. If you want to drop in, that would be fantastic. Normally, we're not in so much of a rush. Normally, live streams can go on as long as they need to go on. It's just okay. Obviously, I'm trying to get a bit of live streaming in before the World Cup starts because next week we'll be really busy with streaming with all the games that are going to be coming at us. So I was just trying to get something in, and this is a big talking point at the minute, in it, guys. So I genuinely didn't think that it'd be as active as it's been tonight. Because most of the time when I've done live streams about anything to do with United, it's been reasonably quiet, just because it's such a popular club. But Mad, it's been great to have you involved, mate. Always great to see new faces involved in the chat, and thank you very much for joining us and getting involved. Always appreciated, mate. Aaron Hart, a great stream, again, guys. Mate, great to see you streaming. Thanks, Aaron. Always appreciate your support, mate. Big fan. Aaron always making massive effort to support the project, and it's great and always appreciated, mate. Aaron, welcome to the Fandom Mad. Absolutely, mate. Well, thanks for that, Aaron. Always great to see you guys welcoming new fans, getting involved. Thanks a lot for that, mate. Mad, thank you, Aaron. Absolutely top to see you guys getting on in the chat. Don't forget, guys, if you want to get more involved in fandom, you can contact me on social media. Like I say, I'm building this channel so we can talk about all aspects of football that fans want to talk about. And you guys are welcome to come on the show as well and talk about stuff you want to talk about. And we will be having a video coming in the next few weeks with a fan on, and hopefully more to come after that in the future. But yeah, thank you very much, Aaron. Appreciate you dropping in, mate. Your support is absolutely massively appreciated. Stephen Allen, big shout out to you, mate, doing all the excellent work you do in the background to keep the chat positive for all Fandom fans to enjoy being involved, so we don't get all the arseholes that want to spam the chat. So thanks for that, Stevie. Mad, thank you guys. Absolutely, mate. Thank you very much for dropping in. And I'm just going to read this final comment because then I'm going to have to go because, like I say, I'm well over the time I was supposed to be. MSU Crypto. Oh, don't read that. Okay, doke. Yeah, well, we'll unblock that. We'll block you. Well, you just got blocked, pal, for being an ass with your stupid comment. There always has to be one, don't there, guys, that comes in at the end. So, guys, thank you very much for joining me. All your fantastic comments and interaction has been amazing tonight. It's been a really enjoyable talk show, and I've enjoyed debating this with you guys and hearing what you guys have got to say. And there's still much to debate with this, to be honest. Let's see what comes out. Let's see. Like I say, part one comes out tonight, part two comes out tomorrow. So let's see what Ronaldo's got to say for himself in the rest of the interview. And if it's necessary, guys, I will schedule another stream to hear what you guys want to say, reacting to the rest of the interview. But for now, that's it from me, guys. Appreciate all your positive comments. Really appreciate you guys coming, getting involved in the chat. Thanks a lot and take care. Hope to see you guys again soon. Bye for now.